Hello you two students, here we are again, lesson 63. My name's Ella and away we go. I hope you enjoyed your learning last lesson about, remember, ice cream flavours. I hope I'm not making you too hungry with all this talk about ice cream and cereal and fruit. So your task was to use this list to turn it into a table. Rows, columns and headings. And we have a lovely example here of what yours may look like, okay? So we did use a ruler. You can see we have flavours and we have how many, and of course we have our heading, favourite ice creams. Remember, data sometimes leads to more questions, doesn't it? I have a question. Who were these people that were asked that question? Some things to consider. Also, did you think about, I wonder what the other flavours were? Here's some statements. Chocolate is the most favourite flavour. Not many people like caramel flavour. A vanilla flavour is more popular than strawberry. And we can have a look at the numbers that tell us that as well, and by how many. Okay, so I hope you really enjoyed that learning and that's safely tucked away in your learning books. Now, while I was getting ready, I was rolling a dice because I would like to record some data taken from a dice. And you might be able to see that I have rolled this dice 24 times. Look at this tally. I can work out there are 24 tally marks here. I've got 6 to go. And I'm rolling the dice to record what number I roll. So let's have a look at 6 more. And we've got the lucky 6 there. A 6. Remember my tallies? A 5. A 3. Another 3 and 2 to go. 2 to go, a 6, or what a perfect one because I can show you the 5th one goes through here to make the tally. And my last roll, 5. Okay, now let's see if I can work out my tallies here. Remember I have a total of 30. We'll check that as well. So my dice rolls, I rolled 1 5 times, 2 3 times, 3 5 6 7 8 8 times, 4 5 times, 5 4 times and 6 5 times. And that, my friends, will add up to a total of 30 rolls. Okay, so here is my collection of data about, it's a lovely table. I've got a heading and some columns and some rows. I've even used my tally marks to help me collect my information about dice rolls. And you can see what was the most popular or the most amount of times I rolled a certain number. The data tells us 3. 3 today in a roll of 30 rolls. 3 was the highest frequency or the most times were rolled. And the least amount we know is 2. 2 was rolled only 3 times. And we can do some lovely comparisons here too with this data. 5 times I rolled a 6, a 4 and a 1. So some really interesting data there to warm up with, and you can play that game too, the dice roll game. Okay, so today our learning intention is to create and interpret displays using pictographs, and we'll know we can do this when we classify and understand data using pictures to represent numbers. Okay, let's think about what a pictograph is. So a pictograph is a graph that uses pictures and symbols to represent data, and each picture is given a certain value. All right, now let's go back to why we collect data. Because we like to inform ourselves so we can make good decisions. Okay, so let's consider friendly farmer Sam. Has a wonderful farm with lots of animals and he needs to go and get some animal food. So, to inform his decisions, he made a table, and the table looks like this. We can see we have a heading on our table, which is a tally of each animal on the farm. I can see in this column the names of the animals: sheep, dogs, chickens, cats, cows and horses. And a perfect use of tallies, I can see how many. So let's total up those tallies to help us interpret this data. How many sheep? 5 and 1, 6. How many dogs? 4. How many chickens? 5. How many cats? 2. How many cows? 3. And how many horses? 2. I don't know about you, but I'd love to visit this farm one day. Okay, so now we've collected our data, we know what animals are there and we know how many. And remember, today we're going to have a look at a pictograph. So I've got some things ready to help us do that. All right, this is what a pictograph will look like. So remember, we're using pictures to represent numbers of these animals. And one of my very helpful friends, Jenny, has cut these up for us. So let's have a think about how many horses. How many horses? I have 2. So here's my horse column. I'm going to place 2 horses in that column. How many cats? How many cats? 1, 2. It's a nice way to make a pictograph. How many chickens? 2, 3, 4, 5. Just checking. 5 chickens. How many dogs? 4. 2, 3, 4. Pictographs are quite nice looking, aren't they? How many sheep? Let's count by 2s. 2, 4, 6. Did anyone fall asleep? Sheep. 6 sheep and 3 cows. 1, 2, 3. Well, Jenny, that's very kind of you to have all my pictures ready to make my pictograph. Each one of these pictures is a quantity of 1. Okay, so let's read some of the data from our pictograph. Which animal does Sam have the most of? Correct, sheep. And we can see that. It's a very visual way of looking at data, isn't it? Which animal does Sam have the same amount of? So which are the same value? Cats and horses. He has the same amount of cats as he has the same amount of horses. How many more dogs does Sam have than cows? How many more dogs does Sam have than cows? 1. Sam has 1 more dog. Okay, now that, my friends, is how we make a pictograph. Okay, now stay with me because I'd like you to show you another pictograph, which is here. And this one's a little bit trickier. I'd like you to have a look at it and think, why would I think this one is slightly trickier? You can see a heading. I can see some categories. Okay, and I can see something here. Sometimes we call this a key, or we can see a symbol and it's telling us it's equal to something. Okay, so what have we got here? It looks like we've got some data collected about how a certain person got to school in term 2. And we can see along here it's telling us how many times each thing happened. Did they walk, go by car, go on a scooter, a bike, or catch the bus? Now, this is what we need to pay attention to, because this is telling me that the value of this symbol is actually 2 times, twice. So if I do count these, how many times I walk, I'm counting them in 2s. This is equal to 2 times. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Lucky we practiced that skip counting. 10 times is how this person who was asked 10 times they walked. Here's a question for you. How many times did they catch the bus? Please don't say 2, because we're counting by 2s each time we see the symbol. So your answer will be 4. Well done. Okay, so there's lots of information we can take from this data set. Of course, the most popular way of arriving at school, or the most times that we arrived at school in term 2, is of course our bike. Okay, how many more times did we ride our bike than our scooter? Here's another statement. Let's have a look. How many more times? These are even. So 2, 4, 6. 6 more times I rode my bike than my scooter if I was the person asked these questions. Okay, so when we're using pictographs, just make sure you understand what the symbols mean. Do they mean 1 of something? Do they mean 2 of something, or something different? So the last thing we do after we've made some statements is to consider some more questions. So our data gives us information, it also gives us an idea of asking more questions. So my questions might be, I wonder, do we have some bike trails to make sure that it's safe for children to come to school? I wonder if we're using the car, how many other people are using the car and what the traffic might be like around the school. And I wonder about the bus, and is it a regular bus perhaps, or is it a bus that the school is using, and what is the bus route, where does that get to, and how many people could it collect? So lots of questions. Data offers lots of information, it also offers lots of questions as well. Okay, so on reflection, today we learned about how to collect data and make a pictograph, and then we interpreted the data, we made statements, and we asked questions. All right, so what will I be asking you today? Here's a good question. Of course, I'm going to ask you to make your own pictograph, but it's a make-believe one. So you can make the data up yourself. You might think, I'm going to make one about what chocolates I can find in a box. You might think about, I wonder what the pets are on my street. Or you might come up with your own idea. I'll show you one in our next lesson. So enjoy your make-believe pictograph. I hope you enjoy drawing, because that's part of it, isn't it? All right, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.